Level 0. At the very beginning of this scale, carnivorous plants do not look dangerous at all. They often seem small, soft, and almost ordinary, especially when compared to the more dramatic traps that appear later. What matters here is not power, but the first step toward a very unusual survival strategy. These plants usually grow in poor soils where key nutrients are hard to find. Over time, that pressure pushed them toward a different path, one that would slowly turn them into hunters. In this level, the plant is defined more by limitation than by threat. It still depends mostly on sunlight, water, and basic absorption through its roots, but the environment around it is already shaping something more specialized. That is why level 0 matters. It shows the origin of carnivory not as a sudden leap, but as a gradual response to hardship. Before there were traps, digestion, or prey, there was simply a plant trying to survive where normal growth was no longer enough. Level 1. At this stage, the plant begins to show subtle signs that it is no longer completely ordinary. Its leaves may look slightly unusual, with shapes that hint at a different function beyond simple photosynthesis. There is still nothing obviously dangerous, but something feels off. These early changes are often tied to the plant's surface, where small adaptations start to appear, preparing it to interact with insects in a new way. What makes level 1 important is the shift in purpose. The plant is no longer just surviving passively, it is starting to influence its surroundings. Some species at this stage develop textures or secretions that attract or lightly trap tiny insects. The process is slow and almost invisible, but it marks a turning point. The plant is no longer just part of the environment, it is beginning to take from it. Level 2. At this point, the plant moves beyond subtle trapping and begins to develop structures that are clearly meant to capture prey. The change is no longer limited to sticky surfaces or slight visual oddities. Its leaves start taking on specialized forms, turning into real trapping devices instead of ordinary plant tissue. This is the stage where carnivory becomes obvious, because the plant is no longer just attracting insects by accident. It now has a built-in mechanism that improves its chances of holding prey in place. That shift makes level 2 feel like the true beginning of active plant predation. A good example of this is the Venus flytrap, one of the clearest symbols of carnivorous evolution. Inside each trap are tiny trigger hairs, and when an insect touches them in the right pattern, the trap snaps shut. That movement is fast enough to surprise prey, but controlled enough to avoid wasting energy on false alarms. Once the insect is trapped, the plant begins sealing the trap more tightly and starts digestion from the inside. What makes this level important is not just speed, but the fact that the plant can now react to contact with precision. Level 3. At this stage, the plant no longer depends on quick movement or light trapping, and instead develops a more stable and efficient system. The structure of the plant begins to form deeper cavities or tubes that act as passive traps. These traps are designed to guide insects inward, making escape increasingly difficult once they enter. The process feels less like a reaction, and more like a controlled environment built for capture. This is where the plant starts behaving like a system rather than a simple organism. Everything about its form begins to serve a single purpose: holding and processing prey. A good example of this is the Sarracenia, a pitcher plant that uses gravity and structure to trap insects. Its tall, tube-like leaves create a deep chamber filled with digestive fluid at the bottom. Insects are attracted to the rim, often by nectar, but the surface is slippery and hard to grip. Once they fall inside, smooth walls and downward-pointing structures make escape nearly impossible. Over time, the trapped insects break down in the liquid, allowing the plant to absorb nutrients. This method removes the need for speed and replaces it with efficiency and control. Level 4. At this stage, the plant becomes more visually aggressive and structurally complex, making its predatory nature impossible to ignore. The traps are no longer simple or subtle, and their shapes begin to look more exaggerated and specialized. Open cavities, curved edges, and narrow entrances all work together to guide prey into a controlled space. The plant starts to feel less like something passive and more like a carefully designed trap. This is also where appearance begins to play a larger role, using color and form to attract prey. What once looked like a plant now begins to resemble something closer to a living trap. A good example of this is the Nepenthes, a tropical pitcher plant known for its large hanging traps. Each trap forms a deep container filled with fluid, often suspended from long tendrils. The rim of the pitcher produces nectar and has a slick surface that becomes even more dangerous when wet. Insects that land there lose their grip and fall inside, where escape is extremely difficult. Some species even have lids that help control water and guide prey toward the opening. This level shows how carnivorous plants can combine structure, attraction, and environment into a single system. Level 5. At this stage, the plant becomes more compact, more aggressive in appearance, and more concentrated in how it captures prey. Instead of relying on large open structures, it develops tighter, more enclosed traps that feel more controlled and precise. The visual design becomes sharper, with edges that resemble teeth and openings that look more like jaws than leaves. This creates a stronger impression of danger, even when the plant itself is not very large. Everything about its structure suggests that once something is caught, it is very unlikely to escape. The plant now looks less like vegetation and more like a small, self-contained predator. A good example of this is the Cephalotus follicularis, often called the Albany pitcher plant. Its traps are small but highly specialized, with a wide opening lined by rigid tooth-like structures. These teeth help prevent prey from climbing back out once they fall inside the chamber. The interior is smooth and leads downward into a space where digestion takes place. Despite its size, the trap is extremely effective at holding insects in place. This level highlights how efficiency and design can replace size as the main advantage in carnivorous plants. Level 6. At this stage, the scale and capacity of the plant begin to increase, allowing it to interact with larger forms of prey. What once worked only for insects can now affect small animals, especially in environments where such encounters are possible. The plant is no longer limited to tiny, lightweight prey, and its role in the ecosystem becomes more significant. This is where the idea of a plant as a true predator becomes much easier to accept. It is not just feeding on insects anymore, it is capable of something more. A good example of this is Nepenthes raja, one of the largest pitcher plants known. Its traps can grow large enough to hold a substantial volume of liquid and support heavier prey. Small vertebrates such as rodents or amphibians can occasionally fall inside and become trapped. The inner walls are extremely slippery, and the fluid at the bottom aids in breaking down organic matter. In some cases, even small birds have been found inside these traps, showing their potential reach. Level 7. At the final stage of this scale, the plant represents the most extreme form of carnivory found in nature, where size, structure, and efficiency reach their peak. Instead of relying on speed or sudden movement, it depends on depth, strength, and the ability to retain prey over time. The trap becomes large enough to handle more complex organisms, not just insects. This level reflects a system that is fully optimized for capturing and processing organic matter. Everything about its design is focused on scale and control rather than reaction. It is the closest real example of a plant functioning as a true apex predator. A strong example of this is Nepenthes attenboroughi, one of the largest pitcher plants ever discovered. Its massive traps can hold significant amounts of liquid and are capable of capturing small vertebrates. Animals such as rodents or amphibians can fall inside and become trapped due to the slick inner walls. Once inside, escape becomes nearly impossible, and digestion begins slowly over time. This plant does not chase or attack, but its structure alone is enough to make it highly effective. It represents the upper boundary of what carnivorous plants can realistically achieve. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, you already know what to do.